style. Can Chris John do the same with his technical boxing skills? Rocky Juarez gives John a seemingly perfect foil.
There are pronounced style contrasts in both of our fights this evening. Rocky Juarez is a boxer puncher at his best. He uses his boxing to set up his dangerous left hook. Chris John is a boxer who uses space and lateral movement to control the ring and limit the contact in the fight. And early on, John working behind his very active and good jab. It's a long jab. And Emmanuel, his favorite combination is the double jab right cross. It's really the footwork, the movement, and the smarts that make him an excellent fighter.
Well, I think the all-around upper body movement, in addition to the footwork, is making John a much more elusive target, whereas Rocky's coming in a real squat, set down, basic, stationary, straightforward position.
We mentioned that Juarez's losses are all to top fighters. 2 losses to Marco Antonio Barrera. The first one highly controversial. He really didn't know how good Humberto Soto was when Soto got the best of him in Chicago in what was his very first loss. And then the 4th loss was against the very great Juan Manuel Marquez. So there are no flies on the record of 4 losses so far from Rocky Juarez, though of course he's fallen a little bit short so far of where he would have expected to be at this point in his pro career.
He seems to be very determined and very focused tonight, in particular fighting in front of his hometown, and with the frustration of having lost in 3 World Championship fights. He'll probably fight the best fight of his career tonight.
Yeah, this is his 4th title shot. And, you know, some point to his connection to one of the most influential and best connected managers in the sport, Shelley Finkel. There's also his Olympic background. And the fact that at his best, he's an entertaining fighter.
He's a little bit faster coming out of the gate this fight than he has been in many of his last fights, where he came out very slow. But he seems to come out with a lot of intensity, a lot of focus, and aware of the fact that he's known for being a slow starter.
Is that because, Max, it's now or never?
Yeah, it may be. Juarez, for an aggressive fighter, has throughout his career, I think, tried to be too perfect, waiting until just the right moment to throw his hands. And I think he realizes now, maybe his last shot on a stage like this, he needs to let those hands go.
A problem for him early, though, has been the accuracy of John's punching. And there's a good right hand by Rocky.
But for the most part, Rocky's been able to close the gap and is cut off the distance on Chris John right now for the most part. And he's fighting very much at the distance that he would like to fight at.
Referee Dickie Cole is the most prominent of the referees we see here in Texas. Anytime you're doing a card here, you know you're going to see Dickie in at least one of the 2 main events. Lawrence Cole.
Lawrence Cole.
Yeah. Lawrence Cole. He's the son of Dickie.
Pick up the pace a little bit for me, okay? I want you a little more closer. I want you closer to him this round, okay? Let's go behind the jab, okay? The jab is working good. Keep this guy backing up, okay? I don't want this guy coming forward, okay? Let's keep him backing up. But look, when you get close to him now, we got to dig the body, okay? You got to dig that body when you get close. But look, the jab is good, but you got to get busier, okay? I want
more feinting, in and out, keep him moving, manjo kiri, okay? Use the jab and the back step and the feint, okay? And move left. All right? We're getting in too close, okay? The jab, the feint, keep the distance, Chris, in and out.
Chris John spent much of his career fighting under the tutelage of the trainer with whom he first took up boxing. He had an acrimonious split with that man a few years ago, and now trains in Perth, Australia, under the trainer you heard in the corner, Craig Christian.
And I think Christian was telling him exactly what I felt, that the fight is a lot at a closer range than they would like to be. And as a result, at this stage, I say the fight is going more towards the plan of Juarez than it has been for John. He's closing up the gap on him, and Craig Christian is telling Chris John to try to create more space to move. He's letting him get too close.
You know, it's also a fight here in Houston. Juarez is the hometown favorite and hero, and not to mention a sentimental favorite here because he's this really good fighter who's never even been able to pick up one of these belts in this era of multiple belts. Chris John has to assume that close rounds will not go his way on the scorecards.
Can we take as a given, Emmanuel, that Rocky is the harder puncher?
Yes, I would think Rocky is definitely a harder puncher. And at this pattern, even though he may not be a head-on point, I think the fight is still moving more in the direction that he would like to have it move in.
It's going to be a tremendous disappointment to Chris John if he surrenders his title here. It's his first fight ever in the United States after 43 fights in Indonesia and Japan. And he says that he is taking the lowest paycheck of his title reign, which goes all the way back to 2003.
And he's probably fighting one of the most determined fighters that he's ever fought, too.
You know, Juarez so far is fighting an inspired fight, considering the quality of opponent and what's at stake here. Jim, you mentioned earlier, he started faster and seemingly more determined early in the fight than he has in the past.
Well, particularly in the first loss to Barrera, it was the slow start that really cost him. He dominated the second half of the fight. Had he fought the first 4 rounds the way he fought the last 8, clearly he would have won.
He's putting in those body shots early, putting that money in the bank early. Juarez is.
And I'm not sure that Chris John has yet solved the space equation the way that Craig Christian wanted him to, Emmanuel.
I don't think so. Right now, I don't know who's winning the fight, but at least, as I say, it's just the way that Juarez wanted it to be, though. But Juarez is going to have to keep this intensity up the entire fight, too.
Indonesia is a larger country than the Philippines, and Chris John, by all accounts, is the Manny Pacquiao of Indonesia. Their
in terms of popularity,
athlete.
yes. Time! A very busy fighter, also.
So a large nation roots for Chris John to keep it going. Tomorrow morning, a minor league baseball player shot by police in his own driveway after police mistook his car for one that was stolen. Don't miss Bryant Gumbel's report on Real Sports. And Monday night, a brand new event, the BNP Paribas Showdown for the Billie Jean King Cup. One night of live women's tennis featuring the Williams sisters, Jelena Jankovic and Ana Ivanovic.
Tonight is your night, baby. You understand? Tonight is your night.
CompuBox numbers in round 2. Chris John landing 17 out of 73, Juarez 11 out of 66. In both rounds so far, John has landed more punches, and they've thrown just about the same number. But all of John's landed punches, by and large, are jabs. Juarez is getting in those solid body blows, which both Max and Emmanuel pointed out.